Hey guys, and welcome to a new series on this channel. Today we will talk about the SD card reader that I have right here. These are extremely useful mainly because the Arduino has a limited flash memory, and if you want to play with big files or log data from your projects, you can't do it on the Arduino. You need something to transfer it to an SD card of some sort. I use it to store and play back sound effects or music or stuff like that because the Arduino just can't handle that sort of a thing. So I've already got this connected and set up. The setup is really simple. We're using 3 pins, or rather 4 pins. Pin 11, 12, and 13 are being used as the SPI protocol pins. The SPI protocol is one of the most famous protocols when you are connecting devices like multiple Arduinos together, or you are connecting multiple shields together. You use the SPI protocol to communicate. Then we have the CS pin or the SS pin, which goes to pin 4 right here as shown on the diagram, and then you can use either 5 volts or 3.3 volts to connect to the power source. I've used a 5 volt here, and I've connected both the grounds, and you see this is a micro SD card which is 2 GB. I've plugged it into an adapter, and I'll plug it into my SD card reader. Let's say we're working on a project where we would like to log some data to a text file. So first, let's create a text file if it doesn't exist on the SD card. And then once we create the SD file, we have to write some data to it. So first of all, make sure you include these 2 libraries. These are the SD library and the SPI library, which will be useful to run this code. Then we create a file called my file, and then inside the setup we have all this happening. So let's go through it one by one. It's really simple. First, we begin serial communication, and if the serial communication doesn't happen, we say initialization failed. If it does happen, we say initialization done. And after that, we see if the file example.txt that we're creating already exists. If it does exist, we print on the serial monitor here that example.txt exists. If it doesn't exist, in our case, we say it doesn't exist, and then we go on to say creating example.txt. Now, we haven't sent a command for creating this file specifically, but once we say st.open, it goes into the file name and checks if the file name exists. If the file name doesn't exist, it creates a file automatically. So that's what's happening here. We give it a command saying st.open example.txt, and then we say file_write, which means we are opening this file to write something to it. A variation of this is file_read, which would mean that we are reading something from the file, but now we are writing something. So once it creates the file example.txt, it opens it, and we can just say myfile.write hello. So this is what we would want to be written inside the example file. Once you've written, we need some confirmation, so we will just print to the serial monitor that writing to file is successful. And then we need to close the file because the Arduino can work only on one file at a time. If you don't close it, you cannot go to the next file. Alright, so let's run this program and see what happens. Here is our serial monitor, which is gonna show us what's gonna happen. As you see, it's gonna take a little bit of time. It says initialization done. Example.txt doesn't exist because my card doesn't contain any file, and then it's creating that file and saying the writing to file is successful. Now that we know we've written to the file, let's go ahead and plug this back into the computer because I want to show you guys that we have indeed created a file and written something to it. Alright, this is my memory card here. It shows up here, and as you can see, it says example.txt is created. Once we open it, what we should see is that we have written hello inside it. So let's go ahead, open the file, and sure enough, there is hello inside it. That is great. The next step is, what if you want to read something from the file? So I'm gonna get my my SD card back. I'm gonna plug it back in, and let's read something. This is the little bit of code that I've written. This is the same stuff which goes through the serial communication. Once you have established communication, you say initialization done, and this little piece of code reads from the file. So first of all, it opens example.txt for reading not for writing like we did last time. And then it just displays a message here saying reading from the file so that we know what's going on. And then there's a while loop here, because if you just give it this command, which is serial.write myfile.read, that means it's writing to the serial monitor whatever it's reading from my file, if that makes sense. This while loop ensures that it's reading all the characters from the file. If you don't have this while loop, it's just going to take one byte, like just the first letter H, and it's going to read that. So if you want the whole thing to be read, we want a while loop that loops through the file and reads everything. So let's go ahead, run this code and see what happens. Obviously, it's very important to close the file after you've used it. All right, initialization done, reading from file, and sure enough, it's read whatever was on the file. So that's how it works. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something from it. If you have any questions, the comment section is all yours. Thank you for watching. Keep fun engineering and stay safe.